Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. We all know AI is revolutionizing B2B lead generation, but most B2B companies are doing it completely wrong. After generating 1,000 qualified sales appointments, I've discovered the secret. Stop targeting a general and generic ideal customer profile and instead start targeting an ideal customer situation. By 2026, teams without AI automation in their lead generation workflows will be completely obsolete. In this video, I will show you the exact AI workflow that fills your pipeline with prospects who actually need what you're selling. No more wasted outreach, time, or resources. The truth is, targeting isn't just important, it is your strategy. The old way doesn't work anymore. Aiming at a huge group based on basic facts like company size or job title might seem smart, but it's actually holding you back. This happens because the old playbook encourages casting wide nets based on static and easily available data like company size, industry, and job title. It prioritizes volume and superficial personalization over genuine relevance. This approach simply doesn't work anymore. We're no longer in 2010. Today, I'll hand you my battle-tested system for building AI lead generation workflows that deliver qualified leads with people who actually need what you're selling. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Isaac Wood. I'm the founder of levergrowth.io. We're a B2B prospecting agency, and we're helping tech, professional services, and agencies grow their top of funnel by going out to their ideal fit customer. And here are a couple recent client wins with 1,000+ company, a Salesforce lead, and a couple other really good leads, just to give you some context into what it is we're doing and who we're generating results with. So let's dive into it. Step 1, mapping your total addressable market, or TAM. Why this makes or breaks your campaign, right? Most outbound campaigns fail because they target everyone instead of someone. Let's fix that. Your total addressable market is all of the companies you could possibly do business with. But here's the catch. Only a fraction of them are feeling the pain your solution solves today. And an even smaller fraction are actually ready to buy now. If you want laser-focused targeting that actually generates results, you cannot spray and pray. You need to map your total addressable market with precision. And without this step, you're really just guessing, and guessing burns cash and time. So how do you map your TAM? Here's the exact process we use to build company lists that capture the entire high-value prospect universe. So first, you'll want to research your industry's landscape. Start with deep AI search tools. You can use Perplexity, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude to uncover market dynamics, competitive pressures, and emerging trends in your market. This will give you strategic context about where your ideal customers live, breathe, and what they care about. Next, you'll want to use strategic prospecting tools. You'll use platforms like Clay, Apify, Apollo, Crunchbase, Google Maps, built with Ocean Store Leads, to name a few. And ultimately, every single niche is going to have a data source that you can use. But the ones that I use most regularly are Clay, Apify, and Apollo. And each tool has a unique data strength, and you can use them for different lenses to see the full picture of your total addressable market. So the next thing you'll do is build your prospect universe. So now you've collected all of the raw company data, then you'll want to collect it, put it into Clay, and you can create a master database of your total addressable market. So at this point, you can apply basic firmographic filters like industry size and geography to isolate only your most valuable prospects. Now, I said earlier that that's the most basic form of qualification. We're actually going to take that a step further. So to give you a little case study on this process. So we mapped the TAM for a professional services client that we had last month. We uncovered an overlooked segment that generated over $96K in annual revenue in that first month alone. Their old process. They bought a generic list from a broker. They were also using a Philippine VA to manually search for and verify the lists. This also costs a lot of time. It also costs a lot of resources and money. They targeted the wrong buyers unknowingly, and they were wasting months chasing bad leads. So what did we do instead? We built the list from the ground up. We're focusing on key filters like industry specialization and size. We didn't guess, we mapped it, we verified it, and then we laser targeted it. We did this by looking at their existing customer base and seeing where did they get the best results, what industries were they in, and so that's ultimately where we started. The result, better leads, more revenue. Here's the shocking truth that most gurus won't tell you though. Mapping your TAM is really just the first step. It's the most basic step. Almost everybody is doing that in this list building process. The thing is, if you stop there, you will fail. Why? Because raw data isn't enough. You still will need to refine your process that'll turn a generic list into qualified, high probability buyers. So in the next section, I'm going to reveal how to refine your TAM so you can only chase buyers who are currently in motion, and the costly mistake that causes most outbound campaigns to die before they ever had a chance to win to begin with. Stick around, this next part could be the difference between crickets and adding new customers every single month on autopilot. Step 2, refining your total addressable market. Why deep segmentation isn't just a nice to have. Now that we've mapped your entire prospect universe, it's time to narrow your focus. This is where most companies fail, but where the real winners will pull ahead. Most teams will stop at that basic firmographic filtering: industry, company size, job title. The fundamental issue: you have no real insight into your prospect's current situation. Without this, even your best outreach will sound generic, and the only personalization you have left is tired and awkward stuff. I'm sure you've heard, "I saw your recent LinkedIn post about insert topic." That's not personalization. Honestly, that's desperation. To win, you need to do more. So how do you refine your total addressable market? This process transforms a broad TAM into a tightly defined segment that shares specific characteristics, challenges, and buying triggers. We identify a specific group of potential customers who are experiencing pain right now that your product or service directly solves. The qualification isn't based primarily on static data like industry or job title. Again, this can still play a role. It's based on finding observable signals indicating they need a solution like yours urgently. So here are the steps. Segment your market. So we'll create a highly targeted group based on live dynamic data, not just static attributes. We'll leverage AI for insights. So we'll use tools like Claude, ChatGPT to filter companies and surface patterns that human research would miss or just take weeks and months to actually figure out. Then we'll extract website data. So we'll use scrapers like Clayagent, which is a native AI agent inside of Clay, or we can use Apify to pull key data points from company websites. An example: calls to action on the website, specific type of messaging. You can look at their product messaging, or you can go to websites like G2 or Trustpilot and look at their customer reviews, just to give a few examples. From there, we'll apply fit formulas. So inside of Clay, we'll score each company based on its fit, right? So we'll rank those prospects by the quality, the urgency of their need, and the likelihood of converting. So you prioritize the best, not just the biggest prospects. As an example, when we segmented one of our marketing technology company when we segmented a marketing tech client's TAM, we made a critical discovery. Their highest converting customers weren't the enterprise whales that everybody else was chasing. They were actually mid-market companies with recent funding in a sales-led process. Funding data was easy to source from public databases, but sales-led was less obvious. So we used an AI agent inside of Clay to scan websites for signs like book a call, contact sales, or schedule a demo. This approach revealed who had an active, human-driven sales model and therefore needed marketing technology built to accelerate their growth. The result: our outreach sounded way more tailored, it was way more relevant, it was urgent, and it didn't sound cold, canned, or random. Ultimately, we helped generate 18 leads in the first month for this customer. A couple more examples of what's actually possible using AI agents to build incredibly high converting segments. This is going to be one of your biggest leverage workflows, period. Industry dynamics analysis, right? So for a B2B tech client, we tracked companies signing new office leases. A buying trigger signaled growth, which led to qualified leads delivered daily to their sales team, right? So that company signing a new lease, we automatically find the relevant people at the company if they're qualified, and then do outreach to them with their sales team. Buying trigger identification. For a B2B sales SaaS client, we monitored companies posting multiple new sales roles in the last month, right? This was a clear sign of growth and a need for sales infrastructure. We also will do competitor analysis, right? So for an agency client, we uncovered companies running multi-channel demand gen campaigns across Google, LinkedIn, and Meta, which was a segment that was completely ignored by their competition, who were really only looking at Google Ads data. This allows us to find those segments that are going to be subsectors of our larger total addressable market, so we can write much more effective messaging to these segments. But even with perfect segmentation, most campaigns still will fail. Why? Because perfect segmentation without relevance is just a smarter version of being ignored. In the next section, I'll reveal the personalized secret that transforms cold prospects into eager buyers and the simple formula our clients use to triple their response rates over competitors stuck doing it the old way. This is where campaigns go from average to industry dominating. Step 3, company level personalization. Why personalization isn't just a gimmick. Generic outreach gets generic results, plain and simple. When most people think about personalization, they're thinking superficial, not strategic. You've seen the tired examples. I saw you commented on this person's LinkedIn post about AI generated summary of their post or your comment. Since your company insert AI summary of what your company does, I thought I would reach out, right? Those are two you've probably seen on LinkedIn before. This is not real personalization. It's vanity personalization. It's just surface level. It's irrelevant. And it's frankly super obvious. Today, that kind of outreach doesn't just fall flat. It feels disingenuous. It's creepy, and it's obviously AI. It destroys trust before you ever had a chance to build it in the first place. Instead, here's what actually works. We personalize based on the qualifying factors we use to build the list in the first place. Real context, real relevance, real fit. Because your prospect logically needs what you're offering, you don't have to fake familiarity, right? You just have to show them you understand their situation better than anybody else. How to create relevance first personalization. Real personalization isn't about complimenting someone's LinkedIn post. It's about business relevance, speaking directly to the prospect's real world pain, opportunity, or goal. We personalize based on specialization, missing resources, geography, or industry alignment. Now, real personalization equals alignment with a business critical priority. When you show someone you understand the business stakes they're facing, you earn attention, respect, and often a meeting. The key mindset here is personalization is a signal of competence, not a gimmick for attention. Important thing to note. Company level personalization strategies. So here's how we actually turn cold lists into warm conversations. Start up here on the left with value-based observations. You'll want to notice something relevant and connect it to your value proposition. For a problem solution approach, you'll identify a specific pain point that they're likely facing and present a direct, no fluff solution. You can use competitive advantage. So show where a major competitor is falling short and why you deliver something better. And then gap analysis. So highlight a missing capability or inefficiency that they might not even realize they have yet, then offer to make that fix. This gap analysis is one that if you can find those, this does incredibly well. And we try to find this for every single one of our clients because usually this is going to sow some kind of idea in the prospect's mind that, hey, maybe I do need to solve this problem now. And then a bonus step here, reinforce these approaches with proof points, right? So above else, when you're dealing with cold prospects, you got to make sure that you're building trust. And so the way that you do that is if you have insights into the company's current initiatives. If they're a public company, you can look at some of their filing documents, like their 10K, that can give you some insight there. Or, you can take a look at they've been funded recently, or they've been in the news for something, or perhaps they recently launched a new product, right? All good examples. Or mention a relevant case study that mirrors their situation, right? This stacks credibility and creates a compelling reason to engage. So let's talk about personalization in practice, right? So here's how we apply the strategy in the real world. So value-based. Example, hey, I noticed your company recently expanded into European markets. Our compliance automation has helped similar companies reduce international regulatory approval time by 63%, right? The source here is press release scraping, and you can do that via RSS feed, which is a native integration inside of Clay. Now, problem solution approach. Your customer onboarding process takes 14 days according to G2 reviews. Our clients typically reduce this to 48 hours while increasing customer satisfaction scores. How you do this? G2 scraping. There's some scrapers on Apify as well that you can use. For a competitive advantage, while competitor handles basic workflow automation, they lack custom API integrations that have helped companies like yours eliminate manual data transfer. And for this, you could do some deep research and competitive analysis inside of Perplexity or chat, right? Gap analysis. Your current tech stack is missing automated reconciliation capabilities, which could reclaim 22 hours per week for your finance team, according to our analysis. And the source here would be built with scraping. You can do that on built with itself. You can do that inside of Clay, or you can use an Apify scraper as well. Now, personalization is useless if you're not reaching the right people, right? Even the best personalization will not save you. In the next section, I'm going to reveal our framework for finding the exact people who can say yes to your offer and the shocking truth about why most contact databases are quietly sabotaging your outbound campaigns before they even start. This next piece could save you months of wasted effort. Step 4, export data and find decision makers. Why targeting the right companies isn't right. Identifying ideal companies is critical, but it's only half the battle. If you want qualified leads, you need to connect directly with the people who can say yes, not their assistant, not their intern, not someone 2 levels too low, the decision maker, right? This step transforms your targeting strategy into actionable outreach that leads to conversations, qualified opportunities, and closed deals. Once your ideal companies are mapped and segmented, here's the exact process that we use to zero in on the right stakeholders. First, we'll locate contact data. So I typically recommend, if your audience is on LinkedIn, to use Apollo, because this is one of the largest and most accurate B2B databases. So you'll pull initial contact information for your leads inside of Apollo. You can filter based on title, department, seniority level, but you'll basically just take your company list of domains and you'll paste it into Apollo. You'll pull that out. You can use Scraper or you can use your own subscription for Apollo. You'll put that into Clay. You'll use AI-powered enrichment, right? So use Clayagent to automatically scrape any additional contact data from the company's websites. So this is a perfect example if you are a company that maybe doesn't have as big of a presence on LinkedIn. You are okay with doing outreach to the company's contact us page or their phone number that's listed on their website. This is useful if you're doing any home services outreach or retail outreach or, more traditional kind of older, more boring businesses that don't have a substantial LinkedIn presence, right? So this will fill in gaps that even the best databases miss, so you can get full coverage of decision makers, right? So find those Apollo folks. You have companies that you really want prospects for, you can use Clayagent to go and try to find them, fill in those gaps. Then you'll do multi-source verification. Apollo will have email addresses. In some cases, you can export the data and they don't even have an email address. All is not lost. You can implement waterfall enrichment inside of Clay. Usually the sources that we use are Find Email, ICPs, Lead Magic. There's a few others, but those are the most popular ones. And this way you never rely just on a single source. You can stack different data sources to fill out your entire data set. So for example, Apollo might get 60%, and then Find Email will get another 20%, and then ICPs will get 10%, and Lead Magic will get 5%, right? So maybe you have 5% of the leads that are missing, but you still have more than if you just exported from Apollo in the first place, right? So now you have all of your email addresses. Run a validation. I like to use Million Verifier. We'll confirm the deliverability, make sure that it is a valid email. Don't do outreach to catch-alls. You can use additional services to validate catch-alls, but I just recommend if you're going bare bones, just make sure you're just only reaching out to valids, and that's going to impact your bounce rate, which kills your sending reputation. And if your campaigns are just going bad, your inboxes will go bad, and that's just a waste of everyone's time. So the end result here, you're not just reaching the right companies, but you're contacting the right people at the right level with the right authority to act. This is how you move from spray and pray to precision targeting. So let's talk about how this actually works in practice. We have a marketing technology client. They switched to our approach. They had a big list. We actually shrunk their database by 63%, fewer names, tighter focus. If you look at any of those databases, you'll notice maybe you type in CEO, but assistant to the CEO will come up on the title side. Perhaps you have an industry filter, but you're looking for software development, but it's actually pulling SaaS, or you're only looking for SaaS, but it's actually pulling software development, right? That kind of thing happens pretty often. So we'll use our Clayagent qualification to just make sure that those companies are in fact real, and we cut out all the fat, and we shrink up their database, right? Their qualified meetings actually jumped. They went from 1 to 2 per month to over 7. We had 10 on a best month. And because it's not about exactly how many people you hit, it's about how many right people you hit, right? When you have quality contact combined with relevant personalization, everything else becomes easier. Higher interested reply rates, higher meeting booking rates, and higher closing rates. Now, in the next section, I'm going to show you how to craft value propositions that make prospects actually want to respond. This includes the exact framework our clients use to achieve over 10% interested reply rates across campaigns that most agencies claim are impossible. And this is ultimately where campaigns start to scale predictably and fast. Bonus step number 5, developing your main value propositions. So your value proposition is the bridge between your prospect's pain and your solution. You get it right and you open conversations, you get it wrong and you get ignored, or worse, in the spam folder. Most outbound campaigns fail here because they push generic messaging into those inboxes, hoping somebody's going to care. But today's market, it's too busy, it's too saturated, and it's too skeptical for that to work. And to win, your value proposition must be engineered for each specific segment you're targeting. This means speaking directly to their unique challenges, their goals, and their motivations. And this is how you build messaging that doesn't just get opened, it actually gets acted upon. So this is the value proposition engineering system. The most compelling value propositions combine interesting insights, emotional triggers, and clear outcomes that the prospect can actually envision. This targeted approach dramatically increases engagement compared to just basic generic messaging. So, deep research. Before writing a single word of outreach, we deep dive into their specific world of every set, right? We want to understand their pains, their priorities, their KPIs, and learn their internal language and culture. Real relevance starts here. Without it, your messaging will always sound off. Pain point alignment. Generic value props talk about features. Great value props talk about urgent pain in the prospect's words, not yours. We frame the messaging around what's keeping them from hitting their targets, what's costing them time, money, or momentum, what's creating friction inside their organization. Now, if you want replies, you must show you understand their actual problem ever before you pitch a solution. Value articulation. So once the pain is clearly surfaced, we connect it to outcomes. Metrics could be time saved, revenue gain, risk reduced, future state benefits, scale faster, dominate new markets, close skill gaps, use concrete proof examples from similar companies. We don't promise vague, better results. We paint a picture of what success looks like, tied to numbers whenever possible. Then testing and refinement, right? So we never assume the first message is perfect. Instead, we will A/B test different value props, we'll track engagement patterns, we'll refine and double down on what resonates. And every campaign gives us new data that improves the next. Our messaging gets sharper, our response rates get stronger, and the machine continues to evolve. Now, here's the part that most people miss. The system isn't just effective, it's highly scalable. While the upfront research and segmentation requires more work initially, it does create a foundation that dramatically improves your conversion rates. It makes every future campaign easier and faster to launch and reduces wasted effort chasing the wrong prospects. Now, in terms of your initial investment, your first 30 to 60 days of research builds a high quality campaign. So this engine can be expanded across new segments without having to start from scratch every single time. Continuous improvement, right? So each campaign isn't just about results, it's about learning. Every email sent and every email analyzed, with every email sent and every reply analyzed, you sharpen your understanding of who your best customers are, what they care most about, and how to position your offer more effectively. Operational efficiency. So by systematizing across platforms like Clay, Apify, and using AI-driven research, your team can launch new campaigns rapidly, personalize at scale without sacrificing quality, execute with less resource strain but higher output, and outbound becomes a machine, not a guessing game. This 5-step process transforms outbound from a numbers game into a precision targeting system. When you invest in deep research, smart segmentation, and relevant personalization, you don't just send more messages, you create campaigns that actually resonate and convert cold prospects into warm buyers. Here's your next move. Start by picking a single high potential segment. Map your complete TAM, refine and prioritize that TAM based on the unique situation that your customers have, personalize based on real business triggers, connect with true decision makers, and then craft value propositions and test those against your list. Now, if you want to shortcut this guesswork and you want to build a scalable outbound system that consistently delivers qualified, engaged leads to your calendar, I encourage you to apply to work with us. We'll help you map it, we'll refine it, and we'll launch a system that drives the same results that agencies only talk about. To do that, go to levergrowth.io. We'll get you sorted, book the call in. Now that's it for this video. Hope you got some value in. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.